Hello, good people. Welcome to my channel. My name is SHIYELIA in Korea. Today, I'm going to talk about my thoughts about moving back to to Zimbabwe after 11 years in South Korea. Can you imagine? I want to move back to Korea. It is what it is, good people. So, in this podcast, I'm going to share my thoughts about moving back to Zimbabwe after 11 years of staying in Korea. I know some people have asked me in the comment section in previous videos, like, when are you going home? Are you ever going home? Like, over the years, people have been asking me, are you ever going back to Zimbabwe? So, today I'll answer all those questions and say about my thoughts about going home to Zimbabwe. Good people, I need a hug because it's not easy. Going back is not easy at all. But I'm here with all the positivity that I can have so that I respond to what people have been asking me about moving back to Zimbabwe. First of all, today I'll not give a disclaimer because these are my thoughts. Like, these are my thoughts about moving back to Zimbabwe. So, no disclaimer whatsoever. But I may just say, whatever I share is for culture exchange purpose. Maybe I'll end up talking about Korean culture and end up talking about Zimbabwean culture. So I just need to give disclaimer anyhow. Like, whatever information I'm giving right now is for culture exchange purpose only. I do not have any other intentions. So, good people, without wasting time, hello, Fireza, my lovely daughter. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, good people, I am here with these thoughts of moving back to Zimbabwe after 11 years in South Korea. I can just say 12 years because I came in 2011. So, few days later, it will be 2023. So, it's not easy just thinking of going back to Zimbabwe. I'm somehow like someone who's already experiencing some reverse culture shock before I even start packing, before I even think of what to carry and what not to carry. I'm already immersed in reverse culture shock before even doing anything because whenever I think of Zimbabwe, this is me now, right now, as I'm thinking of moving back to Zimbabwe. I'm thinking of how am I gonna survive without internet? like the first free Wi-Fi kind of thing. And how am I gonna survive the power cuts, water, like the way water problems are in Zimbabwe? I'm like, I'm already experiencing the fear before I even start thinking of what to carry. So, if you're Zimbabwean, you may understand what I'm talking about, but other people who are not Zimbabweans, I know you will never understand what I'm talking about. But just know that some of these kind of problems are the ones which really cause some kind of reverse culture shock to us. Yeah, I don't want to lie. I am experiencing a lot, like when it comes to reverse culture shock. It was when I was Googling to see what is reverse culture shock, and I'm like, okay, I was now used to Korean culture. Like, I was now in the fully adapted Korean culture, fully accepted Korean culture, and now I'm starting to think of Zimbabwean way of living. Oh my God, the fear, the fear itself. Anyway, let me talk about this, about moving to Zimbabwe this way. Someone asked me, are you ever going back to your country? I got this question many times. Yes, I have to return to my country. I have to. I don't have a Korean ID. I am simply a worker in Korea. So the more I work, the more I renew my visa. But eventually, one day, definitely, one day I have to return to my country. So that's what it is when it comes to living abroad. We come here in these lands to live for a while, and then we leave, going back to our countries. Definitely that thought only comforts me and heal my heart somehow. Though I always say, oh, culture shock, Korea is bad, Korea is what? It's like the reality now when I'm thinking of how am I going to cope when I go to Zimbabwe? I don't even know what to really say much about the feeling itself. Hi, Molly Mo. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. But at the same time, I'm having mixed feelings. Yes, I know when the day comes, I will eventually leave Korea. But we are kind of, what can I say? We are kind of African people, that kind of way. You don't really have to say your details, that like exactly when and how. Like someone had asked me in comment section, there's no way I'll ever say to people openly in comment section or even in my video to say, oh, I'm leaving Korea tomorrow, this. That's not me. I'm fully African in some way, that whatever I do, not that I'm African, I mean, like, what can I say? My own principles towards life is whatever major step I do, I better do it in silence. I mean, like, yes. So whoever asked me, when are you going back to Zimbabwe? Just know that someday I will go back to Zimbabwe. Someday I will go back to Zimbabwe. So the more I get asked like when, it really gives me goosebumps to think of it, to say, why do you really want to know when I'm going to Zimbabwe? Like, actually, if someone in Zimbabwe asks me, when are you coming to Zimbabwe? Like, when are you coming to Zimbabwe? I don't answer. Even if I know I'm not going anytime soon, I don't answer. Because I feel like I have goosebumps. Like, is it like you have something special to give me when I come back to Zimbabwe, that you are asking me about my return? Like, why are you asking me? Like, it's a major step, 11 years in Korea. How do you expect me to answer that question, like about me moving back to Zimbabwe? If I tell you, then you do what? Like, I mean, are you going to facilitate towards my relocation, or you are someone who wants to come and grab my things and start like saying, oh, what did you bring to me for me? Like those people who are always after your, not those people, those siblings who are always after your stuff, to say, oh, I want this handbag, I want this phone, I want this, I want this. I mean, like, yeah, that's the scenario that I have. I have two groups of people who constantly ask me, now you're 11 years in Korea, when are you coming back to Zimbabwe? And when I look at the person, I know this is my close siblings. Like, those people you won't even lie to, that you are no longer coming to Zimbabwe. You are 100% Koreanized somehow, somewhere. This is almost like a rant. I don't know if I know my loyal people will listen me through and through. I know my Zoom people will listen through and through this video. I know you understand the feeling of being asked, when are you coming home to Zimbabwe? We want to throw a party upon your arrival. Sister, I get asked this question by someone I know. They won't even slaughter a chicken for me. I'm being asked by someone who will even maybe visit our house and ask for money for bus fare from me, to say, I came to see you. I even borrowed money to come to see you. That kind of person is the one who's not one, many. Those kind of people are the ones who are asking about my return from Korea. So I'm like, is it of good intentions, or you're after my resources? I mean, like, I don't get it. So if you want to throw me a party, and he showed me the receipt of throwing me a party. I can tell you the date when I come back to to Zimbabwe. But I'm too African. I will never say the actual date of going to Zimbabwe. Hey, oh, Butter and Babies, major shout out to you, sister. Thank you so much for watching. So, my African people, Zimbabwean people, South African people, you understand what I'm saying? That you get surprised when you hear some people asking you, when are you coming home? Are you moving back? Yeah, I'm answering this question. Yes, definitely someday I'll move back to Zimbabwe. Now I'm just sharing my experience, like my feeling right now about my plans to go to Zimbabwe. Sometimes I can't say when, but eventually someday I'll go to Zimbabwe. I'm not going back to Zimbabwe in December. I'm not going back to Zimbabwe anytime soon. But eventually I will leave Korea. So I'm answering this question in many directions. So yeah, thank you so much for watching Road Free Life. Thank you so much. I'm enjoying your videos in Canada. Magetsi, transport, internet and security. Zim ndopainongotira chete ipapo. Yes, fine. Fine. Dear, that's my feeling. Whenever I get this question, moving back to Zimbabwe, when are you moving back to Zimbabwe? It's like 11 years now. You ask me every time, every year, every Christmas I get this question, are you moving back? When are you moving back? And I always look for lies to say. I always say, oh, this and that, so I can't come. But now I've reached the stage that I don't answer this question to people, especially people that I know, my siblings. I don't answer this question. Especially electricity, transport, internet, the security. Like now, I don't want to lie, good people. I'm like I said already, I'm in reverse culture shock already before even going. Like whenever I look at the internet, I was like, let me just look at. I was somehow being motivated by my other sister. I think she will come later. Craving Poetry. She has been eating at very nice places in Zimbabwe, in Harare, and I was like, is this Harare? And then she said, yes, there are a lot of things to do. And then I was just curious to know where are really these places where she go. And then I opened the Zimbabwean map and I was zooming it out, looking at it closely, and I was like, feeling the vibes of Zimbabwe. And then I was like, I don't know how I ended up looking at houses in Zimbabwe, like just to see Zimbabwean houses. And then I started having this fear of saying, how do people live in these big houses when I'm used to living in a tiny room? I started feeling overwhelmed. I don't know why. So I was like, today's video, I'll just talk about reverse culture shock. It's really gripping me right now. I'm used to small environments. So I don't want to lie, good people. Kutya kuenda kumba after staying alone. Ndotyka kuzoudzurwa nevanhu when and how to do things. That's my feeling exactly. Like now, me, I'm used to staying in a one room, my bathroom, and my tiny kitchen. So I'm thinking if I go to Zimbabwe, going home and just being with siblings, and I'm not seeing myself doing that for a long time. If I would go back home, not that they tell me what to do, but I stop eating what I want. I stop doing what I want. I mean, because of people around me, like the budget now changes. I'm used to catering for myself for the past 11 years. Like, I know what I want to eat. I know my kind of diet that I want. And I know people back home, they have their own way of eating. For me, my eating may be very luxurious to them. And for me to sustain myself eating the way I eat, supporting other people also around me, because African families, once you stay together, everything that is in the pantry is for everyone. So I'm failing to to digest that feeling of saying, so for this my diet now, what will it be like? I mean, like, that alone is another fear on its own. Like, going off budget, molimo true unenge wajaira kuzvitonga. Exactly, I'm used to doing my own stuff. The fear of going home is real, even if the ticket is written 23 December 2023, Zimbabwe, Harare. It's just fear after fear. The feeling of knowing you will go back to Zimbabwe. Good people. Hello, Mr. Lagari. Thank you so much for watching. I'm good. How are you? Good diet. Yes. In Korea, I've been having a good diet for the past 11 years. And just to think of it, that if I go to Zimbabwe, yes, there's good food in Zimbabwe. Organic food in Zimbabwe. There's a lot to eat in Zimbabwe. And you know me, I've been staying alone in Korea for the past 11 years. I now know the kind of diet that I want to eat to be healthy as I am. And to think of it, that if I go to a African family, then I was buying grocery for one person. African family definitely will be around 5 or 6 people. Then multiplying by 5 to 6 people, whatever I've been eating in Korea, to be on my bill, it's like fear on itself. Fear. It's fear. Oh, my battery. It's fear on itself. So I don't know how I'll be recording such videos like this kind of podcasts where I talk about my fears. Like, the fear is real. It's so real. I don't even know how to explain it. I think this is one of the topics that I would say, if anyone wants to talk, can you please join and let's talk? Because me alone, I can't. This topic. Do I have earphones? I think this is kind of topic that I can ask people to join me and we talk together. How can I adjust, knowing that one day I'll go back to Zimbabwe? What kind of strategies do you think I should use? If you're someone watching later, what kind of strategy do you think I should use if I go back to Zimbabwe after 11 years? Because for me, I don't want to lie. If you want to talk to me about the strategies that you think can work for going back to one's country after such a long time, please join and let me know. Hello, Sister Meg Gomo. I know it's Sister Meg Ekeret. Yeah, she changed channel name. How are you, sister? Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, so I hope everyone is having a fabulous Christmas season. That's the other thing here in Korea. It's 23 December, but I just came from work and there is no Christmas feeling at all in Korea. Imagine 11 years of not having Christmas. And eventually, if ever I will go back to Zimbabwe, imagine the reverse culture shock that I will have. Because now my room, I don't have any Christmas tree. I don't have any Christmas groceries. I don't have anything to simplify or to celebrate Christmas. So I thought it was only me. You see, girl, I thought it was only me. Me, I don't want to lie. The fear of going to Zimbabwe always grips me whenever I see someone who is in Zimbabwe. Yes, I can be excited about the food, I'm excited about seeing my family, but the feeling of being in Zimbabwe, even if you are not in Zimbabwe, when you are abroad, the feeling, the feeling It's just fear, really. Thank you so much for the thumbs up, Sister Meg. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. I appreciate the thumbs up. Good people. Me, I don't really know. But Zimbabwean people, if you are watching later or you are watching now, let me know. I know most Zimbabweans are abroad. How do you cope with that feeling of knowing that someday, somehow, you eventually leave wherever you are and go to your home country? Even if you are not Zimbabwean, you are African based in another country. How do you feel? How do you feel about going back to your country? It's not easy at all. It's not easy at all. Good people. It's not easy at all. Hello, Ashley Tikwa. How are you feeling, baby girl? I hope you are now well. I have a big question for you. What's your feeling about moving back to Zimbabwe after a long time of staying in China? How do you feel? Because me, I was answering the question that people always ask me, like, when are you going back to Zimbabwe? And I was saying, I don't answer people when exactly I go to Zimbabwe, because the moment I just start thinking of, when am I going to Zimbabwe, I start feeling afraid that I will leave all this internet, I will leave all this transport convenience, I will leave all this peace, I will leave all this security in Korea. Like, if I leave my phone, I can find it wherever I left it, So I don't know, maybe it's just me who is overthinking. Yeah, maybe it's just me overthinking. I don't know. So, good people, how are you celebrating Christmas? I know this is festive season and I'm not even feeling any inch of Christmas at all. And now the temperatures are the lowest, and it's kind of scary in the sense that the cold is so cold that it's easy to catch flu and other things, the pandemic era. So I'm just like, I'm not feeling Christmas at all because I'm avoiding gatherings. Because last time, a week ago, I healed from a very tough flu which was on my sinus, and I'm not ready to go to gatherings. So I'm not feeling Christmas at all. I'm not. Maybe I would feel Christmas when I see people at home posting their pictures and videos. But for now, I'm not feeling Christmas at all. I'm well, dear. I miss home. Shame. If I could go right now. Yes, going for holiday is okay. It's easy to go home for holiday. But my question is, how about relocating to Zimbabwe? What's your feeling that you feel? If ever you have thought of saying, I will relocate to Zimbabwe, are you excited? Are you sad? Are you regretting somehow? Like, I'm asking this because I need that encouragement somehow. I need that encouragement and some inshona mashoko ekusimbisana, I need that kind of encouragement, because 11 years is not a joke. It's like I'm almost being a teenager in Korea, and just to think of going back to the life that I lived when I was born way back, it gives me goosebumps. I don't want to lie. So, good people, yeah, those who were asking me, when are you coming back to Zimbabwe? Definitely one day I will go back to Zimbabwe. Of course, I won't say the real dates, but anytime I can go back to Zimbabwe. Yeah. I think what gives me strength or some positivity, because I know reverse culture shock is going to grip me hard, because already now I'm feeling it. So I have to prepare my mind right now, slowly, as I gather my courage to start going back to Zimbabwe. As people want, they always say, come back to Zimbabwe. Will you ever come back to Zimbabwe? I'm now gathering the courage of how to go back to Zimbabwe. So it's not easy. It's not easy. The thought and the feeling itself. When I was writing this title, I was actually even afraid of even talking about this title, because I know it's not easy at all to talk about moving to Zimbabwe. It's not easy. For the sake of this podcast, what is keeping me going? Whenever I see a comment which asks me, when are you going to back to Zimbabwe? I know the question itself is a trigger. I think the whole of this month I've been receiving this question every now and then. I'm now scared of talking to people, because the second thing they ask me after saying how are you is like, when are you coming back? Like, now I can tell you of the people that I have blue ticked. I don't want to answer that question. Even to lie to say I'm not coming back, I don't want to respond to that question. It's like it gives me triggers. Even if I know I'm not going to Zimbabwe anytime soon, it gives me triggers. Don't ask me when I'm coming back to Zimbabwe. When I came to Korea, I didn't tell you that I'm coming to Korea. I think I will do part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4 of this kind of video of talking about moving back to Zimbabwe, because I need this kind of motivation. I can't, not yet. I'm not ready to relocate, but I'm sure it's just fear of letting go of life you are currently living or control. Yes. Definitely. Someone once told me the hardest decision to do something is probably the thing you should do. Yes. The hardest decision to do something is probably the thing you should do. Yes, I know. So me, what keeps me going, or what gives me strength? I've told you that for now, since I think for the past 5 years, even up to now, I never answer people when I'm coming back to Zimbabwe, because I don't have the answer. I know I have to go back to Zimbabwe someday, but why should I tell you? Why are you triggering me? It's like a trigger itself to get questions like, when are you coming back? If it was possible to open my WhatsApp chat and then I just search for, when are you coming back to Zimbabwe, you will be shocked. It's more than 10 or even 20, more than 20 chats of people asking me, when are you moving back to Zimbabwe? So I was like, if I get triggered by this question, when I started even asking myself also, when am I really going back to Zimbabwe? So that's why I did this podcast. I'm sure you can tell that I am anxious, very anxious to answer this question. And I think I will do more podcasts to share my thoughts, or to share how I'm preparing to answer the question about moving back to Zimbabwe. Yeah, that's my feeling right now. Please don't inbox me asking me when I'm going back to Zimbabwe. When you comment, please don't ask me when am I going to Zimbabwe. It's a trigger itself. Please don't. But eventually I'll go back home. Home is best, so they say. What gives me the motivation, or what makes me look forward to going to Zimbabwe, is that home is home, and there's no place like home. So I know I have to cut my podcast at 30:00 as usual, but I need to do major shout outs. You can tell I am excited and anxious at the same time. Yeah, that's the feeling that I have about answering about my moving back to Zimbabwe after 11 years. So, thank you, Fareza. Thank you, Molly Moore. Thank you, Butter and Babies. Thank you to Road Free Life. Thank you so much for watching my podcast. Thank you, Mr. Lagari. Sister Maigomo TV, thank you so much. Ashley Tikwa, thank you so much for checking me out. I appreciate you all for your inputs. I don't want my podcast to be much longer because I know some people really follow whatever I say or talk about. So I want those people to give me a feedback like on my content. Though I had thoughts of just being here for a long time. Yeah, I want to do appreciation kind of video where I'm just talking about appreciating people who will be watching my videos, who have been watching my videos. Maybe I'll do that on Monday. Monday is 26 December. 23, 24, 25. Yes, it's 26 December. So that's when I'll do appreciation post. If you have other questions, please don't hesitate to comment in the comment section below. But don't ask me when I'm moving back to Zimbabwe, because that's a trigger question to me. I'm Zimbabwean. It's a trigger question. I would appreciate if you maybe suggest some things or ask me about other things which are not about going back to Zimbabwe. Yeah, thank you so much, good people, for watching. See you in my next video. Merry Christmas, everyone. I know it's the season to be merry. And for my lovely sisters, Fareza and others who are saying they are also afraid of going back to Zimbabwe, it's our homeland. Let's gather the courage together. Let's gather the courage. I'm now taking my courage slowly and get ready to answer when I'm moving back to Zimbabwe. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. Ciao, ciao, good people.